Hey, what's up, y'all? It's popping. It's D. Boss reacts to this video by Blackie Speaks. It's titled Cardi B is wrong for this. I skimmed through it and it's pertaining to the whole submarine situation. So I remember seeing a headline a few days ago. Apparently, Cardi B was criticizing the son of one of the people that was on the submarine because he went to a concert while they were trying to rescue them down there in the ocean. I didn't look into the details of it. I was just like, oh damn, that's crazy. But the fact that she came out and felt the need to comment on it, I thought was a bit odd. I didn't see what she said exactly, but apparently he responded too. That's what the headline said. I didn't see that either, but I'm sure I'm about to see it today. Let's see exactly what was said. Let's watch.
Now, Cardi B, you're wrong for this one, Cardi B, okay? You're definitely wrong for this one. Now, Cardi B, been a while since we last talked about Cardi B. The last time we spoke about her, she was beefing with a YouTuber who she ended up suing for defamation. This is something I actually covered, but she did win that case, and in the end, the YouTuber in question had to pay a hefty fee for some of the claims they made. Now, that aside, let's talk about...
Which I find to be very ironic because Cardi B is the main one who's screaming and crying online about how people are always speaking on her and da-da-da-da. She doesn't like when she's the topic of conversation and people are criticizing her. But you jump online to criticize somebody else? That's wild. And especially when it's not even your job. The people that you get mad at, some of them, it's their goddamn job to criticize you and to speak on you. This ain't your job. So you just hopped on here unprovoked with nothing to gain from it and just gave your opinion. But you don't like when people give their opinions about you. Got it.
The topic at hand. So this story actually starts with a very big one that you probably heard all about. And I actually want to use this opportunity to talk a little bit about that and some other things related to it. But I'm talking about the Titanic submersible vessel that ended up going missing. I'm sure you've heard all about it, okay? It's been literally everywhere. And you know what? I'm actually happy that I can speak on it with you today. So let's go over that first. About a week ago, the story regarding a submersible vessel that went missing hit the headlines. The vessel in question had 5 different people on board. Hamish Harding, Shahzada Dawood, his son Suleiman Dawood, Paul Henry Nargolay, and Stockton Rush. OceanGate, which is a private company that was owned by one of the people on board, organizes these expeditions where you get the chance to view the famous Titanic wreckage from this little thing right here. It's called a Titan, and it's the only crewed submersible in the world. It can take up to 5 people as deep as 13,000 feet, which equals to 4,000 meters below the surface of the ocean. The company was started in 2009 by Stockton Rush and one of his business partners, and they had taken people on tours of the Titanic since 2021. The price point for one of these trips, $250,000. These trips that the Titan was taking were actually considered dangerous in the submersible craft industry, so much to the point that the leaders in the field were recommending against these trips with this particular vessel. It was a catastrophe waiting to happen according to experts. There were multiple letters and multiple recommendations calling for an audit and evaluation of the submarine to determine whether or not it was suitable for the job. OceanGate, however, didn't want to listen and even refused, alleging that the external scrutiny process was going to be too long and would eventually delay the deadlines, and that's not good for business. Safety is just pure waste, he said on an interview from last year. I mean, if you want to be safe, don't get out of bed. Don't get in your car. Don't do anything. At some point, you're going to take some risk, and it really is a risk/reward question. I think I can do this as safely by breaking the rules, he affirmed. This level of blind conviction was the biggest mistake of them all. It was what eventually led to the demise of everybody on board. On Sunday, June 18, the submersible went on one of these expeditions and unfortunately ended up going missing. The ship ended up losing all contact with the outside world. The vessel was lost in an area over 900 miles east of Cape Cod, which is located in the North Atlantic, and it was nowhere to be found. There were 5 people inside, and no one even knew if they were even alive. The search for the submersible started immediately, and there was a countdown the search team was fighting against. There was only a 96-hour supply of oxygen for everybody on board. Unfortunately, they couldn't beat the clock because the vessel ended up imploding, i.e. all 5 passengers ended up dying 13,000 feet underwater. That only happened because of the intense water pressure. They all died in an instant and didn't stand a chance because that vessel was not fit to be underwater in the first place. The company was warned multiple times by several experts, but denied all outside opinions that actually mattered and foolishly stuck to their guns, most likely because it is a very profitable business. $250,000 a pop for one of those trips, that's a lot of money. But obviously, whatever the reason was, it just wasn't worth it. 5 people ended up losing their life, one of them being a 19-year-old who only went on the submersible to please his father. So sad. Now, the response on social media to this story, people were letting the jokes fly, making memes, that kind of thing. And why is that? Well, because it involved a bunch of rich people. 2 of the men who died in the submersible were billionaires. And you know how they say eat the rich? Well, the rich did get ate. Any compassion I have in this story for me strictly goes towards the young man who was only 19 years old. Like I said earlier, he only went on his trip to please his father, according to the reports, and this is sad, but Suleiman was apparently...
Reports, though, I don't like that they're even coming out and saying that because we don't really know. Because I saw another report where the mom his mom came out and said that he was excited to go. She said that she was going to go at first, but he wanted to go instead, so she gave her seat to him. That's what she said. So it's like, we don't know what the truth is. Let's just stop saying that.
Fine before this trip.
I mean, not that it matters. Everybody passed RIP, but it's just like people try to sprinkle that in to whatever.
Followed through with it, make his father happy. So literally him wanting to please his father is what got this young man killed, which is very sad. And if you ask me, I think his father should have known better. I mean, he was a billionaire. You gotta be smart to become a billionaire. In that case, how could you not have known that this was a very dangerous expedition that you were going on? From what I read, by the way, they apparently signed liability waivers, so they were well aware of the risks. The consequences were obviously permanent, since ain't no coming back from death. Although I do recognize that it was very foolish for them to follow through with this particular trip. In no way, shape, or form do I think anybody should make light of this situation. At the end of the day, Thank you, I appreciate you. As for the Cardi B part of the video, okay, let's talk a little bit about that. So the story starts with this guy right here. His name is Brian, and he's the stepson of one of the people who died on board, Hamish Harding. He was a billionaire as well. Cardi B ended up getting into it with this guy on social media after he posted that he went to a Blink 182 concert during the search. Yes?
I think it's so ignorant to criticize people based on how you think they should be responding to a situation. Do you know how idiotic and ignorant that is? We are all different people. How you gonna get mad at them or talk shit about how they choose to handle a tragedy? And people react very strangely when they're mourning or when they're grieving or when they're hurting or when they're going through something. People can react in very weird ways because they don't know how to process those emotions. Let them go through that. How you gonna talk shit about it? Like, I feel like that's real fucked up, considering he probably already is going through some shit. But he's like not knowing how to handle his emotions. To be like, how dare you grieve like that? It's just, that's so fucking trifling. I don't agree with that at all. I mean, and I wouldn't do that, but I'm not this nigga. We different people. So I'm not gonna compare what I would do to what the fuck he did. Like, fuck out of here. That's really, like, insensitive and crazy to say that. To be like, well, how could you go to a concert? Maybe he want to take his fucking mind off of it. Maybe he's sitting at home, rocking in the corner and super depressed. And he like, you know what, let me get out the house and take my mind off of this for a second. But he's a demon now? Fuck out of here.
To concert last night. What am I supposed to do? Sit at home and watch the news?
Oh, this is him.
Sorry, this band has helped me through hard times since 1998, he said. So Brian posted this on his Instagram, and it caught the attention of not only the internet, but Cardi B herself, who decided to share some thoughts on it.
Okay, so one of the billionaires that's missing underwater from that submarine shit, one of the billionaires, their stepson, is at a concert, right? At Blink 182 concert. And people is like, well, what is he supposed to do? Be sad at the house? Is he supposed to go look for himself? Yes. You're supposed to be at the house sad. You're supposed to be crying for me. You're supposed to be right next to the phone waiting to hear any updates about me. You're supposed to be counseling your mom and shit. Like, isn't it sad that you're a whole billionaire and nobody gives a fuck about you? Like you missing and mother is ready to shake dicks at concert. That's crazy. I'd rather be broke. I'd rather be broke than and poor, but knowing that I'm loved. Like.
And what a stupid filter you use while saying that.
By saying this, what a piece of trashy celebrity. Cardi B trying to get clout off me and my family suffering. I went to a Blink 182 concert for coping rather than sitting at home and watching the news. Shame on you, Cardi. Get some class, he said. Cardi B then came back and said this. The point was the whole world is praying for these people in the submarine, and this man's son is online shaking dicks for little girls off OnlyFans and going to Blink 182 concerts. You was looking for clout all along. Nobody knew who you were until you said that was your stepdad. This is why people hate you, spoiled brat billionaires. Y'all so desensitized. Just to mention what Cardi B said about OnlyFans. On top of attending the Blink concert, this man was on Twitter thirsting over some OnlyFans girls. I guess maybe that was his way of coping, right? Now, just hitting on some of the things Cardi B said. You're supposed to be at the house sad. You're supposed to be crying for me, she said. You're supposed to be right next to the phone waiting to hear any updates about me. You're supposed to be consoling your mom and shit. Now, this is my take on what Cardi B said.
Let's talk about what the fuck you supposed to be doing, girl. Oh, I can't stand people. Let's talk about that. But you get all in your feelings and want to cry in the corner and do all this extra shit, tweet for days when people say the smallest thing about you. But you want to tell other people what they supposed to be doing. Girl,
Like, everything she's saying is coming from what she would have done.
I know you
how
fucking
she
lying.
would have reacted, which is the issue here. How I look at things is this: the world doesn't know the relationship this guy had with his stepfather.
That part too.
Asshole to him. He could have been abusive. Not saying that's what it was. I'm just saying you never know.
You don't
Again,
know.
The fact that you don't know the relationship he had with his stepfather, how can you then try to tell him how he should be reacting? Don't make sense to me. This is how I think, right? In times of chaos, everybody reacts differently. How one person copes won't be similar to how the next person copes.
What the fuck did I say?
And
Come
that's
on,
the case
Blackie,
because
preach.
Human beings are inherently different. Human beings deal with their problems, adversities, and losses in different ways because we are intrinsically different.
We
You
are
should never have any kind of
different.
expectations on how another person should react to something that hits so close to home. Because in times of chaos, everybody has their own ways of dealing with said challenges and said losses. It wouldn't really be no different from somebody trying to tell Cardi B how to deal with the passing of Takeoff, right? Because Cardi B is basing her opinion really on nothing because she is not this man and she doesn't know the relationship he had with his stepfather. It actually takes a certain level of detachment to be able to think on this level. Because a lot of times, I've been there myself, we as human beings, we do this thing called projecting. You see something, a person, a situation, a story even, and based on your view, your experiences, and your life, you have a certain opinion that's not necessarily in line with reality.
Exactly. I feel like it just shows such low emotional intelligence and low intelligence in general, if you want to get technical, but definitely low emotional intelligence and you feeling like, okay, based on my experience and what I would do, then I think this is what everybody should do. How does that fucking make sense when we're all different and we have different circumstances, different lives, different experiences, different relationships with the people who are close to us? How does that work? That you think based on what you believe that everybody should live their life how you live your life. That is so stupid. And a lot of people think like this online. It's the most bizarre, weird shit ever. It's like, are y'all dumb? Y'all not get that we're all different people? Do you not get that? I don't.
We think it is because we're in this case projecting our own feelings and emotions onto whatever it is that we're looking at. Cardi B in this case looked at it as, if I was in your shoes, this is how I would react, completely disregarding the fact that she is not this guy. And when you not being the person who's in the situation you're so strongly judging, we can now see that you don't know how to mentally put yourself in other people's position because inherently we're all different as people and we all respond to any given situation, especially when you're faced with the potential of losing somebody that you love in different ways from the next person. So it's never what you would do in this situation, it's what they are currently doing in this situation because that's the only thing that's relevant. What I would do is hold zero weight because you're not them. I don't believe you could ever tell somebody how to react. Now you could perhaps suggest and be a little.
Don't suggest shit. Shut the fuck up. That's what you could do. Especially based on your checkered past, sis, and things that you've done. I think you really should shut the fuck up. Because people could bring up a lot of shit and talk about some circumstances where you should have done the right thing and you shouldn't have drugged people and did this and did that. You shouldn't have been stripping. You shouldn't have been doing this when your husband cheated. People could say all type of wild shit about you. So pipe the fuck down. And I'm getting annoyed. And I have such a strong opinion about this because this takes me back to around the time my mom passed away and I was criticized online heavily about how I should have been mourning following her passing. And that really pissed me off around that time. So this was like maybe a month after my mom had passed away. I did like a drinking, try not to laugh video. Or maybe it was a truth or drink video or drunk reading mean comments, something of that sort that I recorded with my ex. I finally was in better spirits. I was finally able to laugh in that video. I was finally feeling a little bit better. And I remember so many people being like, how are you on camera drinking and laughing when your mom just passed? Like, if that was me, I would be sick for months. I wouldn't be able to smile or laugh for months after my mama died. Like, that's crazy that you on camera drinking and laughing only a month after. Oh, that pissed me off so much. It's like, how fucking sick when someone is already mourning and going through something for you to criticize them and point the finger at them and be like, you should be mourning this way. You should be doing this actually. Why are you drinking? Like, your mama just died a month ago. Like, what are you doing? Crazy shit. Fucking psychotic. This was in 2017. I was just like, oh, fucking never will I share personal information ever again. Fuck these people. Like, so that really contributed to me starting to share less and less online. And I mean, I still do share a good amount. I feel like, sprinkled through these reaction videos. If you really watch me, you'll, start to, discover some things about me, but I'm still very private with, really personal shit and like my relationships and, things like that. I'm very private with because people love to force their opinions on you and tell you how you should be living their lives according to what they would do. And it's like, we're not the fucking same, you weird ass nigga. And you don't know the details of my situation. You don't know shit. And just because it takes you this amount of time to mourn and grieve, and this is how you would behave, that doesn't mean that everybody else is going to process their emotions in that same way and behave the exact same way, you dummy. Like, people are just very insensitive and sick. And I feel like this was a very low thing of her to get on camera and say, especially because she, you know, just lost someone close to her. I'm assuming she was close to take off. It's just like, why would you say these things? What if someone was like, Cardi B, how dare you tweet after he just died? Like, you wouldn't want to see shit like that. So it's like, why would you? I don't get it. I don't fucking get her. She gets on my nerves. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think, though. Let me know what other videos you want to watch, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.